finished spreading the organic, sugar-free, sea salt, sunflower butter on my daughter's gluten-free toast. It is up to code for nuts-free learning environments. I add a wild berry jam, which is also organic, and is sweetened with white grape juice, pomegranate juice, and apple pectin. I cut the sandwich in triangles, and of course, no crust, because why would I want to upset my kid? Then I move on to fill in the rest of my daughter's bento lunchbox. I start with a roasted sweet corn thin cracker. It is all organic and used for scooping guacamole, hummus, and caviar. I add non-GMO organic popcorn that is flavored to taste like cheese, but remains dairy-free. I add lightly baked green peas, and I finish with dairy-free, gluten-free pretzels flavored with nutritional yeast. As I put this sandwich into a wax paper bag, I realized my mom never put together a lunchbox for me. So I tell my wife, I don't think I ever took a lunchbox to school. And she asked me, were you not expected to eat at school? And then I thought, oh my God, I wasn't expected to eat at school. Of course, the truth is still less than perfect, but more nuanced than that. My school, El Liceo de Cervantes, in Barranquilla, Colombia, was one of the last schools to break for lunch and come back for the afternoon session. My classmates didn't get snacks either. They got an allowance, so they could buy the snacks at the kiosk. When the bell rang for recess, all the boys ran to the kiosk to form a line to buy sodas and baked savory goods. I never got an allowance. My mom was working hard to make ends meet, but when the electricity is 3 months behind, my snacks were not a priority. So I spent most of the recess being a buitre, a vulture. To be one, you place yourself close to the kiosk and you collect small percentages of the other kids' foods whose parents got enough to give them an allowance. And then you beg for food until these kids relented, and they always relented. The power dynamic was interesting. Who had more resilience and willpower? These little namby-pambies whose parent had enough to pamper them with an allowance? Or the kid who come 10 in the morning, was always hungry, and had no other option than to face his fear of rejection over and over and over again. I learned in recess that if I wanted to put food in my belly, I needed to get in the middle of the action, ask difficult questions, face rejection, and every now and then succeed. By the time I was done collecting morsels from those who gave them, I probably had a bigger meal than those who bought directly from the kiosk. My wife tells me that it doesn't matter who you are or what you have. In California, you're always guaranteed a hot lunch. This is the kind of safety nets that newly arrived immigrants struggle to understand why Americans don't think their country is amazing. This is a safety net that will never be available in Colombia. If my mom didn't have money for snacks, I intermittently, involuntarily fasted for a few hours, unless I begged for food from my classmates. And when I think for what my daughters get, and I compare it to my past and my life in Colombia, I'm tempted to say that my life was rough. And the truth is that I had very little concept of it. Life just was. Sure, we struggled, but we were fortunate to have what we had. We had a roof over our heads, we had food at home, and we were clothed. Yeah, the soles of my shoes were not often glued to the rest of the shoe, and my socks usually had holes in them, but we were clothed. But millions of Colombians didn't even have that. For a while, my biggest concern was that I wouldn't be able to teach my daughters the gift of knowing how hard life can be in Colombia. Now, it's not so much that as me forgetting how lucky I am to be here. So the challenge remains. My daughter still has to eat in a code-compliant way. And I'm going to give her these ridiculously fancy snacks. But maybe as I hand her the lunchbox, I can tell her stories of how life used to be when I was her age in Barranquilla. So maybe she will never take for granted how good she has it here, and I won't either.